Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. So today I decided, obviously I'm getting ready to go to my appointment. By the way, in case you haven't seen my Instagram, this was a lovely present sent to me by Beauty in the Boutique. So thank you ladies, that's so sweet of you, and I'm wearing it today. Anyway, to get on, I decided today I'm going to do the Golden Goddess for two reasons. One, I had a request for it, and I am aware that before that request I had one for the Rock Chick, but also Golden Goddess goes a little bit more with what I'm wearing today. So let's kick off. Now today I'm going to be using a colour chameleon again because, like me, my Golden Goddess palette is getting on a bit. Okay, so now you don't, obviously not all of you are going to have this one because the Copper Lights was an exclusive to the advent calendar this year. She didn't bring it out individually. Bring it out individually, Charlotte. Now I didn't get the advent calendar, but again, thank you to my Ali Pallies who tipped me off that someone was selling it on eBay. Because that's the only thing I wanted from the advent calendar, and so I managed to get it, and I'm so delighted, so thank you for that. I'm going to use that, but obviously not everyone bought the advent calendar. They won't have Copper Lights. If you don't have Copper Lights, Amber Haze works beautifully under the Golden Goddess. So I'm going to kick off with putting that on now. Okay, and then I'm going to start adding this, and I'm going to use this in the traditional way today. So the way that Charlotte often teaches us, which is prime, enhance, smoke, pop. Okay, now the enhance shade. I just love the way that this one gives you a subtle eye contour as well. And I'm going to take that enhanced shade and just take it underneath the eye. Okay, and then the smoke shade, which is this lovely warm shade, which hopefully will go with my dress. And it will layer beautifully over that enhanced shade. I'm taking it a bit higher up than I took the enhanced shade, so that it kind of overlaps, but it gives an intensity right in the socket where the two shadows overlap. You might find your shadows stick a bit to the colour chameleon, but don't worry, you can always do a final blend. And I find that if they stick a bit to the colour chameleon, just use your fingers, because the warmth of your finger will move that colour chameleon underneath. Do you see what I mean? Whereas if the brush isn't letting you blend, it's because it's stuck to the colour chameleon, but your fingers will work because it warms up the colour chameleon underneath. Right, and then I'm just going to take that smoke shade and take a bit of that underneath as well, just half a way along. Okay, and then I'm going to take the prime shade again and just under the socket there, under the socket, under the brow even, and the other side. This is such an easy look to achieve. If you don't feel confident with really complicated colour stories, this is a really good palette. Okay, and I'm also going to take that eye prime shade and just take a little bit underneath, just to brighten up under my eyes, just there. So if you take a dark colour all the way in, I'm sure I've said this before, but just to remind you guys, it's just going to make your eyes look smaller. So it's best to avoid taking them all the way in, especially if you've got hooded lids. Okay, so that is the Golden Goddess. Obviously I haven't put on the best part, which is the pop shade. So again, I'm just going to make sure that it warms up nicely on my fingers. And again, this is a beautiful pop shade. Let me just show you the one. It's been well used and well loved. But also, if you're finding that your pop shades are getting a bit dry, you could always use one of the new eye jewels, because they're quite similar, or one of your palette of pops. So there's no need to just go and buy another palette. There's plenty of things that Charlotte's brought out along the way that you could use to pep up an old palette. And that's the reason that I decided to revisit these palettes, is because we're constantly being told to buy new stuff. And I want to appreciate some of these palettes that I collected with love and care all that time back, and you know, really put my heart into collecting. I just don't want to forget them. So that is that. So you can see it's still giving a lovely glow. Now, talking of neglect, one of the things I think Charlotte's often neglected a lot is the pencil that goes into the Golden Goddess, which is the Sofia, named no doubt. Well, it could have, somebody suggested it was after Sophia Loren because her other pencil's called Audrey. I always thought it was named after her niece. And of course the Bella Sophia is. This is the pencil. And it's sort of got a nice shimmer, but not too much. So if basically the Audrey, I don't think I've got the Audrey. The Audrey pencil is darker than that. It's still brown, but it's darker than that. And it doesn't have a shimmer. This one has a very slight fleck to it. You can't really see it there, but I'm just going to zoom in so that you can see that. Okay, I'm not sure that even my camera's captured that, but we shall carry on. And I'm just going to put this. Now, the only thing about the powder pencils is they're very flattering, but this one and her Audrey one, when they originally came out, they do take quite a bit of pressing to get the pigment out, whereas her new black one seems to be a lot softer. And I'm often curious to see if I buy a new Sophia or a new Audrey, I know they're called something different now, whether or not she's changed the formula in those as well, because this just needs a bit of, you see how I have to tug a bit to get anything out. Now this isn't coming out because my eye is watery, so I'm just gonna do that, warm it up again, try the other side. If anybody has bought the Sophia or the Audrey, I think they're called brown and light brown now or something like that, something generic, recently, and find them to be very soft, could you let me know? Because I don't want to invest in another one to find out that they're exactly the same. But if they're the same as her new black powder pencil, then I'm in, for sure. I'd be quite happy to bin this and go for a new one. But anyway, it's not really supposed to look like a really strong feline flick. This isn't the look for that. But it's just supposed to give you a nice subtle definition to the eyes. And I was going to show you a swatch, but I've already done that. So I'm going to put on some mascara and curl my lashes, and I'll be right back after I've made Jack his lunch because he's on his school lunch break. So I'll see you in a minute to finish off this look. Okay, so that's sandwich done for Jack, and now let's move on to the lips. So now I didn't get my lip liner ready. What am I like? Brain like a sieve. I'll be right back. Okay, so the look calls for Pillow Talk lip liner. Again, I'm going to use medium today, just because it's a better colour for me. And you can use the original one, or you can use the intense one if you want. Play around with it because they're all similar tones, but obviously different depths of lip liner. And often you can play about with the colour of the lipstick just by changing the lip liner if you fill in the entire lip as I've done. And then I'm going to use the lipstick that goes with this look, which is Stoned Rose. Now, as I said the other day, this was my original Stoned Rose, which I cherish because apparently they've changed the colour and it's more orangey now. And I love the colour of this lipstick. I don't know why Charlotte changed it. There was nothing said about it being changed, but I'm pretty confident based on people's swatches that they sent me that she did change the colour of the lipstick and it's more orangey now. But either would go. So anyway, here's Stoned Rose. I like to put a few swipes on because my lips are feeling quite dry at the moment. But that is Stoned Rose original. I must get a new one just to see what it's like at some point. And then what goes over the top of that is Ibiza Nights. Now, if you don't have Ibiza Nights lip luster, she has bought plenty that would go over this. If you want to try the new Champagne Diamonds, Jewel Lips, any of those that have got a bit of a luster into them. So let me just show you this one. You can see it's very similar to the Champagne Diamonds Jewel Lips. I'll show you that one as well so you can compare them. Okay, I've got my Champagne Diamonds. So this is the Champagne Diamonds. Do you see? They're so sheer that either one would work. And if you've got Pillow Talk, any of them really, because you're just putting it over as a topper on your lipstick, you're not going to know. I doubt that if I even stood in front of Charlotte Tilbury and said, am I wearing Ibiza Nights or Champagne Diamonds, she would be able to tell. Even though I'm sure she knows her makeup inside out and back to front. But I'm going to stick with Ibiza Nights. Just wipe off the doe foot because I don't want to put the lipstick shade back in. It's quite sheer colour this, and I like to keep it as it is rather than end up with bits of lipstick, coloured lipstick in it. Right, so that's the lips, and then finally it is Ecstasy blush, which you saw yesterday, and Ecstasy works great on anyone. Again, if you wanted to, what would look really lovely with this would be the either of the Pillow Talk lip and cheek tints. You could use Goldgasm highlighter if you wanted to really make it zingy, you know, rather than a day look. And I'm just thinking of some other ones that you could use. My mind's got, oh, Peachgasm on the cheeks and Goldgasm to highlight. But I'm going to stick with the look. So this is Ecstasy. So I'm just swishing on both sides first. I like to swish on both sides and then pop on both sides. Now, today I didn't start out with using the contour wand and the highlighter wand because for this look, I don't feel like I want a very sculpted jawline. So just in case you're thinking, well, when do you use a sculpting wand and when don't you? You can use it whenever you feel like it. But for this look, I just think it's less sculpted jaw and a bit more sort of dreamy eyes and just very pretty looking, really. I can't think of any other adjectives. So for this, I would tend to go more towards using my Hollywood Bronze and Glow. I've got the dark one here. I'm going to go for the medium to light one. I'll just get that and I'll be right back. Here's my medium to light one. As you can see, it's last year's lovely edition. So I'm just going to use that. I did put some Flawless bronzer on underneath all of this, and of course all the details will be in the description bar. But I'm just going to use this to very roughly contour. I'm not that bothered, but just a little bit of definition to frame my face. And actually, because it's the medium to light, it's not going to do an awful lot. It's a little bit too light, but it's great for sculpting my nose. Okay, and then the highlighter. I think the original highlighter is quite lovely, to be honest. It's not too in your face, but it just gives that lovely natural glow. And then I'm going to finish off with some of her setting spray. I need to just get that, it's out of my reach. Here we go. I'll let that dry down and I'll be back to say goodbye. Okay, so that's a finished look. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. It's such a flattering look, really lovely. I will put a link to a video. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it, but in case you haven't, I do recommend you go and see Charlotte making Patsy her mother up with this look. And she looked stunning afterwards. And you know, she's a mature lady, but it really looked great on her. There's also a clip, and if I can find it, I'll put the link. But there's also a clip of Charlotte making a woman up on a programme that we have in the UK called This Morning. And the way that she didn't mention the product names because I don't think they're allowed to advertise on ITV. During the programme, obviously they can in the adverts, but she wasn't allowed to advertise. But the way she was describing the products, you knew that it was the Golden Goddess she was putting on this lady, and she looked really stunning at the end. And she not wore makeup for years, and it was a real transformation. If I can find that video, I will also link it below. I hope you've enjoyed this today. I'm off now to go and get my foot sorted, and I will see you all tomorrow for my live at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry I couldn't join you today, and I hope you all saw my video last night and got the message. I probably should have put something on the community this morning, but I've been helping Jack with his work. So anyway, I hope you've all got the message by now. Take care, have a lovely day, and I really look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Take care, bye-bye. Mwah! Sorry I didn't put this video out yesterday as I planned. So actually the live is today at 1 o'clock. I'd had my foot debrided, which is when they go in with a scalpel and you don't want to hear it. But anyway, I was quite tired when I got home, so I just rested. So anyway, so I'll see you all today at 1 o'clock for my live. Okay, see you then. Take care.